Hello friends, and welcome back to the Mothership. Today we smoked up a yard bird and we cooked up these delicious pulled chicken bacon ranch sliders. Let's get started. The first step in smoking any chicken is to get a brine together. I have my ratio down below, but right here we have 8 cups of water, 8 tablespoons of kosher salt, 4 tablespoons of brown sugar, and 2 garlic cloves. Give these a nice complete mix. And then we are just going to put our chicken in, breast side down. This chicken is going to go covered into my fridge overnight to enjoy its nice little brine bath. Our yard bird has finished its night's bath, and the first thing I do with any wet brine chicken is give it a complete rinsing. I rinse it thoroughly, and then once it's done rinsing, I rinse it again. I don't want to get any of the wet brine on my bird when it goes on. All that brine is basically just salt. And the meat is already salty enough with the amount that's infused into the meat. I don't need any extra salt on top. So all I'm going to do here is give it a nice olive oil bath just to make sure everything sticks and to help crisp up the skin. And then I'm just going to put some garlic powder and some black pepper. Like I said, we don't need any extra salt because it's already salty enough. I'm going to get everything covered. There's going to be more seasonings in this meal from the sauces, so I'm not entirely going crazy here. Just going to get a nice coating. And then it's going to go on to the smoker at 225 degrees. It is pouring right now, so I'm going to get nice and wet making this video for you guys. Okay, the rain has finally subsided enough for me to show you what we're working with here. I have our chicken, as you can see on the bottom, inside of a rack, just sitting upright off of the grates. And I actually have a glass container full of butter that I'm basting the chicken down with. It's been on for about an hour and a half, 2 hours at this point. I'm looking for an internal temperature of about 160, 165, especially you're looking for really the thickest part of the meat, which is going to be somewhere in between the breasts. There's a lot of dark meat on this bird, so it can take a little more heat on some of the extremities, but in general, you want to make sure you're getting 165, obviously. So I'm going to let it keep doing its thing. I'm going to keep basting down every 15, 20 minutes with butter, and we'll move on with the next step. It is now time to toss together our ranch dressing. And to do so, I am going to take all of our mayonnaise, our sour cream, our buttermilk, and all of our dry seasoning. Give it a nice mix together. Oh, my lemon juice was in there as well. I think it was in with the buttermilk. Give it a nice mix. Get everything all distributed. Now what I want to do is put it back in the fridge, let it congeal a bit before we actually use it on our sandwiches. As you can see, our chicken has been pulled. And after a short rest, that means it is time for this chicken to be pulled. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just pull it apart, as you can see. And I'm going to take all the skin and put it to the side. I'm going to use the skin for a different meal we're going to make. But for these, we just want to have nice pulled chicken. Now the best part about pulling any whole animal, whether it's a whole hog or a chicken, is you get all the different textures from different parts of the animal. So as you can see, there's a whole bunch of different colors in here. That all comes from different sections of the meat. Some of the more darker meats, some of the lighter meats. It all comes together to make a really nice bite. And like I said, the same thing is true for a whole hog versus just doing a pork shoulder. But the trick here is just to get off as much as we can. And this chicken is cooked really nicely. So everything just kind of comes right off really easily. And the best part about doing a chicken like this, where we have very minimal seasoning onto the chicken, means that our leftovers, we can kind of do whatever we want with it. It doesn't have to be the same meal, but the chicken's going to be used for leftovers. Looks pretty good to me, guys. Now that I made sure there's no bones and I've separated the amount that I'm going to use tonight versus the amount I'm going to have for leftovers tomorrow, I'm going to add in our ranch. Just pour it in there. I'm not going to use all of it because I want some to go on top, but get it nice and mixed up. This is going to be our pulled ranch chicken for our sliders. Oh, doesn't that look good? Now, the craziest thing about this little concoction is how much it looks like a chicken salad, not like chicken ranch. But you saw what I made. It's ranch. To plate these suckers, I'm using potato slider buns. I'm using dill pickles. Obviously, our pulled chicken with our ranch dressing. Some bacon that I cooked up. I broke it into little crumbles, put that on top. I have some cheddar cheese and some lettuce. I think all that's going to come together perfectly and make a really good meal. And I've been munching. The chicken is fantastic. Bacon is always fantastic. And I think with the cheese and the pickles, this is going to come together perfectly well. So, as always, guys, it's time for the old-fashioned chomp. That is good. The homemade ranch is fantastic. You can really taste the fact that we put in our own buttermilk and our own sour cream, mayonnaise, all that. It tastes really good, and it does taste homemade, not like, you know, the box store brand you're gonna get in a squirt bottle. The chicken is fantastic. Has a perfect amount of salt from that wet brine, and you can taste the garlic and the pepper, but not too much of anything else, so it really takes on that ranch flavor perfectly. And then you add in the pickles, the cheese, everything else really comes together to make a great slider. This is a good backyard alternative to having just burgers all the time. If you want to have something out there for your barbecue, you could throw on some sliders. Everyone would be really appreciative, I'm sure. And you've got bacon in there. Who doesn't like bacon? So guys, what kind of sliders do you do in your backyard cooks? Do you do anything? Is this your first time making these? Let me know how they turn out. Obviously, YouTube stuff, like, subscription, comment, all that jazz would be really great. And most importantly, cook them fantastic.